Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a standing cast bar using the rail mounts on your kayak. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. These are the main parts I'm going to be using in this project. First, I have this piece of 3/4 inch EMT conduit. And then in order to cap off the grab bar section, I have this little plastic cap. Then I also have these Bimini top parts. This right here is going to be for the legs. I'll use 4 of those. This will be for the angle for the 2 support legs, so I'll need 2 of those. And then these are the quick release pin bases to connect everything to the tracks, and I'll need 4 of those. This is the maker pipe T-connector for the grab bar horizontal section, and I'll need 2 of those. And then here I have some 1-inch diameter shrink fit tubing that I'll put over the grab bar section of this setup. This is how I estimated the lengths I needed to cut my conduit to. First thing I did was I took 2 of the Bimini top track mounts and just temporarily set them in track here. And then, because I wanted the height of my cast bar to be 36 inches, I cut that piece of conduit. And then I slid on the piece of the Bimini top hardware where the angled support section screws into. And I didn't tighten it down because I wanted it to be loose fit so I could determine my measurement. So then I just took another piece of the conduit and made my angle, lining it up with this piece here, and then took that measurement. So I'll kind of show you how that looks. I'm going to set the 36 inch on the front mount here. Then on the rear mount, I've got my support piece. And so what I did was, knowing the lengths of the end pieces that are going to go here, I was able to estimate where I want this to line up with the correct angle. And so I got this piece measured out at 19 inches. I'm going to show you just a couple of things I did in my setup that you don't have to do, but I just did. Now, on the inside of this section here of the casting bar, what I did was I made sure that all the set screws and the other screw were all facing the same side, the inside. Just in case I had to make adjustments out on the water, it's a lot easier to do it on the inside. And my pull pins on the bases will also be turned to the inside. And then just another little hint. On this, whenever you have 2 of these supports on one of these pieces of conduit, you have to make sure that this angle lines up together the same. Otherwise, it's going to be off. So if you draw an imaginary line or even use some of the lines on the conduit itself, you'll be able to line everything up. And then if you have some kind of difficulty because the quality assurance isn't really good on some of these plastic parts, if they don't slide on very well, you can treat them just like PVC and go ahead and heat them up with a heat gun, and they'll expand a little bit, and then you can just pound them on down with a mallet or a hammer to get them to fit. And you can also replace this set screw with a regular screw if you want by drilling a hole through here. And I did that on the 45-degree part. As you can see here, I replaced that set screw, drilled a hole through, and then put a self-tapping screw in there just because there's a lot of stress on that piece, and I wanted to make sure that it stayed in place. This is what one side looks like when everything is loose fit together. And you can see that it has a slight angle on the casting bar that you're going to put the holding cross member on. and everything lines up well, and then I can tighten everything down once I finish the other side. This is my horizontal conduit piece, which will serve as the handle, and I measured it to be about 23 inches for this setup. And here I use the 1-inch conduit heat shrink and got it down very tight for a good gripping surface. Now when you do that, because there's going to be so much heat generated, it's best to wear gloves while you're handling this until everything finally cools down. I wanted to give a little better detail on how to use the maker pipe T-connector for this project. So I've got samples of my 3/4 inch EMT conduit. This will be the vertical and this will be the horizontal for my cast bar. And here is the maker pipe connector. It has a hex head bolt and nut that holds it together, and it is a 5mm hex head tool to use it. And on the back side here, they call it the puzzle piece, because what you do is you connect them together like this, and then you run one conduit through here and then another conduit through the bottom section. So I'm just going to show you how I made my connections for this project. Take the bolt out for a second. And then I'm going to take my horizontal piece here. And you can see it sits about an inch from the edge. So you need to remember that when you do your designs. So for my vertical, I'm going to do that first by connecting the puzzle pieces like so. And I haven't put any bolts in, and then I'm going to slide in the horizontal like I told you before, and then I'm just going to hold it a little bit to make sure nothing falls. Then I'll slide the bolt through, going to the opposite side here. And just loosely connect the nut so I can hold everything in place. And then I'm going to take my tightening wrench and tighten it down. And you really can crank on that to get everything tight. And then here's my connection that I came up with. So I hope that helps if you decide to use this in your project. This is the completed and installed project, and I'll give you a little bit of close-ups of how everything fits together. So as we come up here to the tracks, I've got my 2 Bimini track mounts there with the quick release pins. Coming up the side here, I have my angled Bimini connector. And up to the horizontal grab bar, I have the maker pipe connector. And up at the top, I have the plastic cap. And in the center of the horizontal grab bar is the PVC shrink fit tubing, which makes a great grab surface. Going down the other side, you have the exact same setup. And there it is. Something I did want to mention about the reason that there's extra vertical space above the horizontal bar is because I wanted to leave that area open so you could attach camera mounts or even rod holders if you had to. So it leaves it open to whatever you want to do. So that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. Thank you.